Life just doesn't happen to us. We create our reality. This is a podcast for manifestors and for those of us who understand that we are the creators of our reality through every thought, every action, every intention. We understand in order to get what we want, you better work, bitch. The work of universal nature is this: to remove what is here to there, to transform it, and to take it from there and convey it elsewhere. All is change, yet not in such a way that we need to fear anything new. All things are familiar, but their allotment is also equitable. Marcus Aurelius. What's up? It's your esoteric Essa, aka your esoteric homegirl Jasmine, on the mic one time, hitting you up hot in season 5 with an episode that is going to feed your mind. We're going to get into numerology, and we're going to get into the current state, the current cosmological temperament of our global environment. There is so much going on today in our current society, testing our fear, testing our faith. And it's an important time for us to collectively lean on each other, support each other, build community. So before we get into all that, I want to open up with a moment of gratitude. I want to open up with us taking time in this moment, wherever you're seated, whether you're in quarantine, lockdown, or not. Let's take some time to just sit, ground, and get clarity. I want to give thanks to Source, Spirit, Universe, Creator for this opportunity to be here, sitting in front of this mic, speaking to my brother or my sister on the other end, for this very sacred and intimate moment that we are co-creating together. Although for some our circumstances aren't ideal, we're still optimistic and we still find the faith and the hope. And we know that in these uncertain times, there's much opportunity for growth. And so it is. Thank you. All right, guys. I want to get into just some esoteric knowledge to make sense of, hopefully, make sense of what's going on. And as I'm recording, it hit the 222 mark, the 2-minute, 22-second sequence. That's for someone out there. So 2020 is a universal year of a 4 vibration. When we say universal year, we're reducing. In numerology, the laws are reducing numbers from 1 through 9. So although we're in 2020, we reduced that and we got a 4 universal year. Listen, there's a lot of crazy shit happening, and I know there's a lot of fear happening. And it's our responsibility to be proactive, be responsible, and be true to how we react, right? Easier said than done, but it's time to walk the walk. It's go time, baby. This is why you incarnated. This is why you and I incarnated. It's time to step the fuck up. And how do we step the fuck up? That's even in the littlest ways possible. Stepping the fuck up means, in the light work that you're doing, it's something that is deeply tied to why you're here, Is it because you're a mother or a father and you're being presented with the beautiful cosmic task of teaching your children how to not have fear responses, how to break that tie, that chain that you've culturally or ancestrally have experienced, lived, breathed, eaten from your own childhood, right? It's time to raise a new byproduct of environment. Hence, your future children, the future human, okay? This is why these things are happening right now. There's so much opportunity with the way we can perceive these scary moments. So, for numerology is all about the vibration of community. It is foundation, it's stability. If we think of a room, we got 4 corners. If we think of a chair, typically they got 4 pillars, right? 4 is about foundation and structure and organization. 2020 is all of that. 2020 is about the 4 vibration. 4 vibration in a positive polarity is about community. What has happened just in these short 3 months of 2020? We have a lot of drastic, crazy, unforeseen events on a global scale. I want to get into so many things. I'm trying to be organized, so bear with me with my thoughts. I'm really channeling right now, just channeling whatever's coming in. But 4 is about community. Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, was someone that I really looked up to. And I know a lot of people looked up to him for various reasons. And I don't want to erase the possibility, and I don't want to diminish and tarnish the legacy, but we also have to be real. There is, and I know his death was triggering because of his history with regards to sexual assault and rape. We cannot diminish the voice of the woman who made those allegations, but we also cannot diminish the fact that nothing was ever proven. You know what I'm saying or not? And I know this is a very touchy subject because many of you reached out to me and shared how his death triggered you in so many ways, right? But let's think on a really bigger picture. Let's really take ourselves out of it and our pain and our trauma attachments with all due respect. 4 is also the vibration of the Emperor card in tarot. In the tarot cards, reading cards, there are numbers. There's also numerology incorporated in that. And 4 is the number associated with the Emperor. And the Emperor is the ultimate energy and essence of the divine masculine, the male energy. I've been saying this a few times that we are breaking away. Can't fully say free, but we are breaking away from the patriarchy. And when we think of the patriarchy, we think of the father, the padre, the male, the masculine energy. Well, the emperor, when he's not in a distorted energy, and distorted means someone who's out of alignment, someone who's operating in lower vibrational energies, someone who is toxic. The emperor embodies the light aspects of that, not the dark aspects. With the passing of Kobe Bryant on a global scale, that was a tragedy to what? Bring about community. Not just in the United States, but globally in many different countries that he had prominence in. Okay? It globally brought us together to mourn the loss of a man who went from distorted masculinity to emperor energy. What do I mean? He was immature when he came into his career, young in the NBA, hot and fresh, wildin', youngin', let's be real, he was a little bit egotistical. He was full of himself. He was cocky. And he also probably could have participated in the possibility of distorted masculine behavior, hence the sexual allegations. Okay? That happened to rock his fucking world. And what did he do after that? He became extremely dedicated to his wife, to his image, to his daughters, to being a girl dad. Not only that, but then to women in that field, the sport that he was in. Women in athleticism, specifically basketball, high school girls basketball, women's college basketball, and the WNBA. He then, after his death, triggered this wave in the masculine community to men and inspired them to step the fuck up out of distorted energy, to be a better father, whether you a baby daddy or not, whether you're in a committed marriage or relationship, whether regardless of your race, breaking the stigma of, the stigma that surrounds the African American and Black community and people of color community, right? How father figures are kind of a loose, not so obvious figure in lives of their children, right? That's a stigma. It's very much a stigma. And after we saw him pass, what did that do? We saw so many men start tweeting how they're a girl dad and how they want to be dedicated to the lives and their daughters, to the queens, their wives, right? And so many NBA players, and NBA players are notorious for being what? Distorted males, distorted masculines. And I don't want to stereotype, but there are a lot of distorted masculines who are athletes. And so Kobe's passing not only triggered community globally, regardless of sex or gender, but he also triggered that specifically in the divine masculine collective. Why? 2019 was the universal year of the 3 vibration. The 3 energy is the feminine energy. It's the divine feminine energy. What had a huge moment, an undertaking and pivotal shift in 2019? The Me Too movement. The bringing down of the distorted masculine in prominent positions, Harvey Weinstein, etc., R. Kelly, etc. All these men who are acting within distorted masculine energy, and the rise of feminine voices and the rise of the divine feminine. If you're familiar with the twin flame journey, you know that the divine feminine does the work, majority of the work in that journey. She's usually the awakened one, and she's dedicated to her healing, not solely for the fact that she knows that the dedication to her healing is deeply rooted and a deep catalyst in the outcome and the movement of her journey to her masculine, right? But the feminine is always a step ahead in her healing. And then the masculine follows energetically in his healing. 2019, divine feminine, 3 vibration. She went first. We're leading the way. 2020, the 4, the emperor, the divine masculine. He's up to bat. Okay. 4 vibration, 2020, community. I know we're so tired of hearing this. Coronavirus. There's so much to be said. There's so many pieces to this puzzle. If you have a chance, please check out my latest piece that I did for Luna Lifted Goddess Diary. The Goddess Guide, I just did a piece on the astrology behind the coronavirus and the new world order. It's here, y'all. If you can't find that link, go to my blog, soluminati.com. The blog piece is there as well, or you can find it on my Patreon account, Esoteric Essa Patreon. All right. The coronavirus, among many things, is helping us shift out of 3D dimension, hopefully, and lifting us into the fifth dimension, 5D grid, with hopefully us realizing the truth and the reality of global warming and pollution, and releasing things that have been in place as part of the old patriarchy. And I know that's a really hot buzzword right now, but let's be real, it's really on the table. It's really on the table right now. Coronavirus has been a catalyst in community. This is literally, I even said, my word for this year for the podcast is community. And it could not be more real. This is trickling down in every sense of the word. Coronavirus is affecting everyone in a very detailed way, whether you're a small business owner, whether you're a big business owner, whether you literally, your country is on complete lockdown, or your country is extremely facing a lot of devastation, right? What is it doing? It's people in Italy are gathering together in quarantine on their balconies and singing, trying to find the hope. What are we doing? We're reaching out to our elderly. We're taking our elderly, the lives of our elders into concern. Our elders, and for those of us who are Latinx, we know how important our elders are to us. Right? We treat them with so much respect, but somewhere down the line in society, we lost touch with that. How many times have people referred to the lives of elders as just something that is really disposable because they're on their way out? How dare you say that about a life, yo? That's not right. What are we doing now? We're reaching out to them. Seniors in isolation, your neighbors, your grandparents, reconnecting with them, letting them know you have that auntie who lives alone, that neighbor that ended up being family that has lived on your block for hella years, and her family's in another state, or his family's in another country. What are we doing? We're reaching out to our elders, the traditionalists and the baby boomers. The traditionalists come before the baby boomers, okay? And those two generations represent the patriarchy in the fullest sense, down to their mental thinking, down to the society they were raised in, and being predominantly influenced and organized and ran by the government, which during their generation was extremely distorted masculine. Okay. Coronavirus is putting that generation at most risk, right? Our elders. It is so symbolic that these generations, the baby boomers and the traditionalists, are dying off with this virus, this new virus. It's symbolic that we are breaking away from that energy. And it's literally physically happening in the deaths of these people. And I'm not saying that their deaths are like a sacrifice, or it's like, I just, please don't even try and fuck with my words like that. Just understand though the symbolism behind it, right? Everything is energy, and there's always read between the lines. Read with the third eye, okay? And this is about global community, loving thy neighbor, bringing us back to the community vibration when for so long we have been in a I, me vibration, all about I, what's in it for me. And with Trump being at the forefront of this as the president, the leader of the free world, as we begin this new world order, cannot be more symbolic. Trump is the epitome of I, me, the low vibrational energy of the ego. And this really, I truly believe, is just the beginning of a couple more events that will happen on a deeper level. And I'm so sorry for all the heavy breathing. I'm just like trying to channel this out. But on a deeper level, this is Trump being presented with his own spiritual journey with this coronavirus to really find a spiritual opportunity, a spiritual perspective. It's almost like Spirit is presenting him with the scales, and he's looking at the scales, and it's like, how do you want to operate? Which polarity are you going in? On a deeper level with this coronavirus, and him being the Trump administration in charge of leading in the forefront of this crisis, is an opportunity for him to kind of wake up to his own ascending, his own awakening. Will he step up to it? I don't think so. But there is always free will, right? And so it's just, there's so many layers of symbolism. Now, there is some messaging. If you don't get a chance to check out the blog post that I did on the coronavirus, let me go ahead and I'll drop the link in the footnotes, but I just quickly want to give you a rundown of what it is so you can check it out. I talk about why COVID-19 really had to be why China had to be the epicenter of the virus, of COVID-19, of the coronavirus, and how China is ultimately really a part of our human race that we're waiting to catch up. And the divine spirit source is triggering these cultural devastations or cultural movements, however you perceive it, in order for us to progress. Karmically, as a human race, if you think about our timeline, from the civil wars, from the Great Depression, from the assassinations of MLK, JFK, AIDS epidemic, 9/11, all these big trigger moments of fear have had to play the domino effect in order for us to transcend and progress as a human collective, to tap into our spirit, to tap into our essence, my own spirit, and my connection to faith and to the divine, and your connection to faith and divine, right? And so this is why these things happen, because we're clearing karmically our timelines of our genetic human bloodlines. So I talk about how China essentially was divinely written by source to be the epicenter of this, to trigger that awakening that the rest of humanity, or some of humanity, not the rest, but that a portion of humanity is still oblivious to, understanding that we need to make some real fucking changes, or else we're going to be wiped out as a human race. Earth is going to be fine, y'all. She's cool with it. She knows how to rebuild. She knows how to rebuild, do an ice age, allow her years to replenish, right? It is we who can go extinct ultimately. Now, in that article, I also talk about how old world legacy money is being tested. Families, old money, like the Rothschild. If you don't know who the Rothschild family is, Look into them. You know, they are the 1%ers, y'all. They are the real fucking deal. You know, they're the real deal. Forget the Hiltons. That's petty money. You want to talk about real power and real influence? You look up the Rothschilds, okay? Families like that with deep, deep roots of corrupt money. Johnson's and Johnson's, right? It's all about Uranus and Taurus and shifting that. How are these big players, these big corporations going to step up to the plate and use their money for good? Will they? Will they not? They're being tested. Oil money, tested. Fossil fuels, tested. The old regime, tested. Right? I mean, I bring up Johnson and Johnson's because they just got busted for that lawsuit with baby powder, and ultimately them years of knowing that shit caused fucking cancer. If you still fucking with baby powder, please do not put that in your armpits. Do not put that near your genitals. Do not put that on your babies. All right. Monsanto. If you don't know Monsanto, please do your research. I mean, I'm about to get you blacklisted right now with your internet search. Monsanto is the largest, they've just come under heat and under fire because a lot of their products have been factually tested and known to cause cancer. And they're a huge part of agriculture. They were a big part of agriculture here in the States. So I bring all this up because there's no place for selfish agendas in the age of the Aquarius. From the Rockefellers to the Rothschilds, the few who hold unlimited power behind these major corporations are being tested with their money, their power, and use of influence. I repeat, there's no place for selfish agendas in the age of the Aquarius. COVID-19 and China's leading role in this horror film is simply a way for the collective to see with new eyes, thy third eye, a new perspective on the reality that fear is the predecessor to growth. And I leave you with that. I wish you well. I wish you so much love. Let's keep building community. Let's keep supporting. Let's keep growing. Fuck fear. Fuck fear. Fuck that vibration. Reach out if you need help. Reach out if you need support. If you're going through depression, anxiety, fear, call on your sister, call on your brother, call on your friends, call on your family, call on me, call on our community. You are not alone. And this is the time to turn that fear into faith. Okay? I love you so much. And I leave you with this: as above, so below. Thank you. And I appreciate you.